You've made it. The world is quiet now, and it's just us. Welcome to the Savon Experience Pillow Talk Solo Edition, your safe space to reflect, exhale, and get real. I'm your host, Savon, and tonight we're diving deep. So get comfortable, take a breath, and let's talk.
You're tuned into the Savon Experience. Pillow Talk Solo Edition. Let's talk.
What's going on? What's going on, divas and jivas of the Savon Experience and our scholars? How the fuck are you? How are you? How are you, love muffins? I hope you've had a great week. I hope everything is going as planned, honey. I hope that you're getting everything that you are supposed to get, girl. Boy, dude, bro. I'm having me some water today, honey. I hope everything is going the way you expected and planned it to go. Listen, this episode is called Emotional Fatigue. How to love someone and support someone without losing yourself. Girl, this could be whether you're dating someone with a very traumatic past, girl, dating someone who, well, traumas, period, they could have anxiety issues, they could be neurodivergent, they can be, I don't know, have whatever challenges. But how do you show up, be emotionally intelligent, give and love and grow with grace, and then also in the process not lose yourself? You ever feel like you're giving so much to someone and that there's barely anything left for you, bitch? Love muffin. Divas and jivas of the Savon Experience. Do I? Hell, fucking yeah, I feel that way all the goddamn time. That's one thing about being an empath. That's one thing about being somebody who care for people automatically. The world. Sometimes we care too fucking much. Um, and just being a good ass person, it is exhausting. And this is why I've been trying to help everyone with this podcast to show them how to fix that shit and how to balance it out and how to also create boundaries and not, drain yourself in the process of, someone who I have gotten like little friendship with over TikTok had stated that, hey, you should do like a 60-90 day, a 30-60-90, I think is what he called it or something. And I need to look into that and see more about what that is and how that's laid out. It's a There's obviously a market for it. And so I'm like, shit, we all going through some fucked up shit. So there's obviously a market for us doing taking care of ourselves and, helping each other along the way. So I wanted to talk about that tonight. I want to talk about when you feel like you've given so much to someone that there's barely anything left for you. It's easy to pour from a full cup until you realize yours has been empty for a long fucking time. Ain't nothing coming out that motherfucking cup but dust, girl. It's evaporated. It's gone. You've poured all of it out, honey. You have pulled all your money from this checking account, this savings account, this whatever reserve, girl. And now you're in the negative. You don't have anything to pull. You're not getting anything else from me. So how do you manage that? So tonight we're going to get into excuse me, unreciprocated grace, and the silent weight of always being the strong one. Come on, somebody. Harsh truth. I know some of y'all out there are always the strong one, so nobody's ever checking in on you. They always feel like you got it, so you don't need them to check in. And I don't know why people think that. Why do y'all folks who think like that, why the fuck do you think that way? Why is it not an automatic thing to check in somebody because they're strong or you feel like they got it, they don't need it? Everybody needs to be recharged. Everybody needs to be celebrated. Everybody needs to be reminded that there are people in their in their village that they can lean on because they can't always do it themselves, whether they want to or not. Sometimes you have to lean on your village. So I don't know why people feel that way. I mean, there's some people um who think atypically, right? As we would say, neurodivergence, right? It just doesn't process the same way for them. It's not intentional. They don't mean to do it. It's just the way that their mind is set up, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different. And how do you navigate in those spaces? I've had to be in that space more often than I care to admit. I am truly one of those people who do really care for people. So if I choose you as a friend, as a mate, as a partner, as a whatever, I've made that decision. So therefore, I'm truly 10 toes in support. But there are some boundaries. There are some things that I've gotten better at building, creating, and managing and keeping everything in their appropriate space. Not doing that bullshit anymore of letting people drain me dry all the time. I'm just not doing it. And it's exhausting as fuck. So we're just not going to do that anymore. You understand? We're just let me fix my screens. We're just not going to do that anymore. Time out. Don't want it. Not doing it. So when you go the extra mile again and again and again, and not because they asked, because sometimes y'all we do this shit to ourselves, not because they ask, but because you see them. You're doing it. You're going the extra mile again and again. They didn't ask you to. And so when they say that, when you be like, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and you don't get it, he's like, well, I didn't ask you. Or they say, I don't ask you to do it. You be like, bitch, the fuck? You can kiss my ass. But in reality, they didn't ask you to do shit. You took it upon yourself to be Captain Save a Hoe, to mother fix it. You did that. And then you get mad when you're overextended or when an opportunity comes for them to show reciprocation and show up for you and they don't have the ability to, or they don't think to, or they just don't. Then you get mad about it. Or the first time they said no, then you get mad about it. You ain't saying nothing to them because you felt like when you needed them the most, they weren't there. Well, shit, when I needed you the most, you wasn't there. This is a two-way fucking street. So if motherfuckers decide they don't want to talk to me no more because of it, fine, girl, boy, boo, bitch, boo, bye. Okay. I respect, I respect your decision. Okay. So here's the truth. When people get used to your kindness, they stop treating it like care and they start treating it like convenience or like you owe it to them. No, baby. I don't owe you shit. You don't owe me shit. So when you start seeing people move differently and they start taking your kindness for granted or it's weakness and they stop treating it like care and start treating it like convenience, bitch, you have to pull back and remind them, but this is a gift. This is a perk. You don't just get this just because, and I don't care how long you've been knowing each other, been friends in a relationship, you have to pull back and be like, I have options. I don't have to do this. There's nothing that says I have to do this. Just because you got used to it don't mean I have to. Don't you ever get too fucking comfortable to where you feel like I owe you anything or that perk is owed to you in any situation. The only thing where something is owed is if it's a situation where you've already agreed upon it on a service and a payment for that service, right? So when you go into work and you work your whatever hours that you have agreed upon working and you get paid, okay, that's what's owed to you because you provided a service and then they owe you the funds for that service because you've already agreed upon the rate. You have a contract, you have all those. But if none of that should happen and you're just getting it because you, my boo, my friend, or I care, don't for one fucking second think that I owe you that because, bitch, I don't. And I won't. And I ain't because I can't. You understand? So when people start crossing those boundaries and start taking your kindness as a convenience and that is owed to them, bitch, pull that shit back. When people get used to miracles, they stop calling them blessings. I read that when I was doing some research on talking about this and working with my assistant Nova. When people get used to miracles, they stop calling them blessings. That's a saying that I have found online. I've not heard that before. Let's talk about that shift. When appreciation fades and expectations take over. Let's talk about that because sometimes we don't always see when that happens. People get used to those miracles. I know God feel like this all the time. All these miracles, and you stop calling them blessings. Hmm. And that's why he stopped showing up in your life because you feel like he owed you. He don't owe you shit. So maybe the person you're giving to has, I don't know, maybe there's a reason that they act the way they act. There's an excuse. Maybe there's a condition, maybe they have traumas that they're working through that just, you know, trust issues, or maybe they're just someone who's narcissistic and just used to using people and taking your kindness for granted. Maybe they could have some behavioral differences or challenges. Maybe they're neurodivergent. And in some of these instances, certain things like being neurodivergent, the communication style is different. The way that the brain works is different. The way that the friendship is laid out and how things and how how they show appreciation is just different. I can't say it's right or wrong. It's different, but there are learned behaviors that we all have had to learn, whether it's Asperger's or whether it's just learning in life. You have to learn how to treat people and how to appreciate them and how to show up and how to be thankful and grateful. You get what I'm saying? Just like they have to learn how your brain operates and how you handle things and how you think and keep those learned lessons in their decision making skills and the decision making tasks all day, just to make sure that when they're moving with intention, with grace, and they're also moving, in favor of what's the best way to communicate, with you. But that shit gets tiresome at times. I'm not gonna lie, and we're not gonna always be emotionally intelligent. We just have to work through it, right? So maybe they're on the spectrum, or maybe they've, like I said, been through hell. You know what I'm saying? So you see their traumas, so you show up with patience. But what happens when your patience turns into pain? Because that's when a bitch like me, a person like me, be like some fuck you and move the fuck on. And then you need to sit in that moment and see what it feels like to not have that. And so where I'm at in this present situation, because if you are a divas, jivas, and or scholars, you'll know where this episode derived from. Become a member, you'll be able to kind of see the behind the scenes where I talk about why I wanted to do this episode. If you're not a member, then it's just take it for what it is. You have life experiences. This can bless you. This can still help you. Um, when you understand someone's pain, you understand what they've gone through, you've understood their history, and you're taking it into account in every step, every move that you make within that friendship, situationship, businessship, whatever it is. It doesn't mean you have to bleed for it. That trauma, that pain, that injury doesn't belong to you. They have to understand that injury doesn't belong to you. You are aware of it. You see it. You acknowledge it so that it helps in how you move with in associated with that person. But that don't belong to you. You're not blaming them for having those issues or challenges or being different. You're acknowledging that sometimes love isn't enough to fill that fucking void. Love of them being a friend, love, the relation, the respect is not enough. It's not enough. And that may be hard and heavy for them too. Well, welcome to the fucking club. It's hard and heavy for everyone. So you don't negate your needs for theirs. You don't. They need to learn how to show up and show appreciation. Just like they play, I notice that certain people like this, they play all the negative things in their mind over and over and over and over again, and they never really think about all the good things until you say something about a situation. Like let's say they complain about their jobs or their family or a person or place or thing, a noun, and their verb. They're talking. They're complaining about a noun, right? And the verb doesn't align with the noun, right? So, oh, this job is this is another, and don't nobody really like me, blah blah blah. And then you be like, someone else, why nobody like you at your job? Well, bitch, actually they do. They really do. Like my boss loves me. They, and they're really nicer to me. Well, bitch, really? Because honestly, you only talk about the bad shit. You don't talk about the good. So it's hard to even know that you even realize the positives because you don't focus on them, not as much as you do the negatives. And this is when I said earlier that a God has got to be tired because these miracles, the things that you've asked for, you have. Now you're not even grateful for those things. You choose to have a fucked up attitude about the most minor things. And this is not to say that things shouldn't bother you. They should. But you need to learn how to weigh out all those things, the pros and the cons. And I'm going to be very honest about my situation and why I did this particular topic and talking about it because bitch, I'm tired. I have done a whole lot and I don't have shit to prove. And I'd be damned if you get upset because of how I moved in a situation. Okay, well, I moved in a situation that you didn't like, bitch. And add that to my list. I'm gonna add it to 2,224 on yours. The fuck, we're all human. But don't let nobody who you show up for not show up for you. And I'm gonna have a conversation. Just making sure I handle it with grace. Stern, yet with grace. Said what I said and I meant what I said. Okay? So loving people with deep wounds can be fucking hard. Understanding their pain doesn't mean you have to bleed for that shit. You don't got to blame them, but you're acknowledging that sometimes love isn't enough to fill a void, so they're going to have to step that shit the fuck up. Point blank, period. You're going to have to step that shit up. Because if you don't, the burnout of overgiving is real. It is real. That burnout is real. And I'll tell you, speaking from my experience, when I stop giving a fuck, I stop giving a fuck. All fuckers are gone. There's nothing you can do. It's emotional exhaustion. That's what that's called. The burnout of overgiving is called emotional exhaustion. You're supporting, listening, and adjusting, but no one's pouring back into you. That person's not pouring back into you. That doesn't make you selfish. That makes you fucking human. It makes you human. And some of us who are emotionally intelligent or working to be so, We often feel like we're being selfish when we're only being human. You are a priority as well. So if you don't have the space to fuck with somebody to listen to their shit or have that conversation, it is okay to create that boundary and not give them access to you. If it's your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your life partner, whatever you want to call them in your life, it is okay to tap them on their shoulders and be like, you got me fucked up. Okay. And this is how I'm feeling right now. And I need you to acknowledge how I'm feeling right now. Because if you don't, bitch, I'm going to be gone. And you pack your shit up and you go. And they lose out. That is on them. Sure, you don't have access to them, but you don't have access to their bullshit either. Or they fix it. And I'm a huge supporter of people hearing you, acknowledging what you say, and fixing it. I don't need you to ignore it. And I don't need you to just start acting differently. No, bitch, I want you to ignore. For me, I know my last video was like, sometimes you're not going to get that apology, and that's fine as long as we separate it and move ways. But if you still here, you're going to give me what the fuck I need. Period. That is a requirement. That is not a suggestion. And you have to know what your boundaries are, and you have to know where you draw the line if you're going to stay in this situation. And sometimes that means walking away from that situation if they can't do it. Okay, that's on them. You don't feel sorry for them for not being able to do it because they have to learn. Just like we learn, they learn. Everyone has the ability to learn. It is a matter of importance for them. Just like that one book said, he's just not that into you. It's just not that important to them. So you can love someone deeply and still say, this isn't working for me. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're giving yourself a chance to breathe. You can support someone through their own storms without being their shelter. You don't have to be their shelter. So let's unpack how to set boundaries without becoming cold or resentful because, bitch, I'm not going to lie to you. Right now, the Shaquansha in me wants to be like, bitch, you got me fucked up and you can eat rocks, skip rock, kick rocks, lay in them motherfuckers. You can do all those things. But see, I know long term, I'm not quite there yet. Meaning, once I'm done and I'm ready to walk the fuck away, that's what I'm gonna say. And I'm just upset and frustrated at this present moment, right? So I want to navigate my words and my emotions appropriately. But girl, Shaquansha is that voice that don't have that filter. And I remember having to say to draw my line through the foolery in the conversation. If you watched, if you remember, you'll get the details. And I had to say, listen, I've communicated how I feel about this situation right now. I've made a request and asked you to take a certain action and give me a moment. And it doesn't feel like you're hearing me or even give a fuck. So that makes me believe what you want is the alternative response, and I can give that to you. I will give that to you if that's what you want. But I want to make sure we're both acknowledging what's happening here. Okay, what's happening right now, and so when I give it to you, you don't play fucking victim. You understand why you're getting everything that I'm about to give you because I give it to you if that's what you want. Absolutely, sure. That's my favorite response when I get pissed off. Some people say, okay, mine is sure. Sure. So in that moment, you are creating that boundary without the bitterness, right? You're letting them know you're setting the stage, you're reclaiming your peace and you're self-reflecting. You're causing the self-reflection for both sides, right? Here's your permission slip, okay? So let me give you a permission slip to reclaim peace and self reflection. So, one, you are allowed to stop rescuing people who won't swim. Sorry, let them drown. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to receive. Grace should go both ways. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys. This is why I'm trying to teach people about grace and what that looks like for those who are important to you in your life, because even givers, those who give care and give grace, they need it too. The strong people who are always showing up for you need you to show up and be strong for them too. Or, bitch, move out the way. Quit saying, oh, they strong, they got it. That might be true, but that don't mean they don't want to hear and feel the support. We all do. That is the most asinine thing that I've ever thought of and heard. I, People gotta tell you to check on your strong friends. I hear people pray to God and they say, God, I know it's a lot and I know you can carry all things, but how are you doing? I actually have prayer like that to the universe, to the creators. How y'all do this shit? I remember working with someone in my career and one of the C suite folks. And if you know, you know. And he would come around and ask people how they're doing. Great. And I was like, well, how are you? How are things going with you? Like, you good? You going well? And I remember him pausing and saying, you know what's so remarkable about you is what he said to me. And I said, what's that? He said, you're the only one that ever asked me how I'm doing. The only one. CEO, CEO, VP, one of the two. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, that was shocking to me because it's amazing how people look at their managers and their leaders and CEO or big people and like, and feel like they just got to get never check on them. Like, I appreciate you asking me because no one ever asked me how I'm doing. And I thought that was just, hmm, wow, really? You never know what people are going through. Never, I say you never know what they're going through, and you never know what they're going to, right? You never know when that moment could also be something to help pull you out later. You never know when you're going through something. That same person you checked in on remembered that and saw and witnessing what you're going through. It can help extend grace to pull you out of. I tell people all the time, karma is real. The seeds you sow are the seeds that you reap. And you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. So while you're walking in your walk and you're giving grace and you're learning about emotional intelligence and you're applying it to your life little by little, you never know how that may come back and help you. They say the same people you see going up are the same people you see coming down. You might want them to remember some experiences that could help you when you re-engage, when you reconnect with them. You know what I'm saying? There's some people who you just the bridge is burnt, it ain't happening, it's not gonna work, and that's okay too. But you are allowed to stop rescuing people who won't swim. They'll either sink or swim. And that's hard to do when you care, but it is what it is. You gotta care more for you. You have to stop self-sacrificing your peace and your stability for other people. Because let's be clear, if you are constantly helping them hoes can't help you anyway. Ain't shit they can do for you in that moment until they get built up to a point to where they can. So if you don't get rest, if you don't take care of you and you are the primary caregiver, then you ain't gonna be good to nobody. You're not gonna be here. And then how is that gonna help them? So however you want to, you know, assess that, that's on you to assess it. So here's a call to action because we're going to wrap up. We're almost at 30 minutes. If you felt that this message spoke to your spirit, spoke to you, or could help someone else, send it to that person. Send it to the person who's always showing up for you and everyone else. My dogs, obviously. Tag the friend who needs to hear it's okay to rest. And if you're the strong one, I see you. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, my dogs are starting up. So I'm about to wrap up. Follow, review, share. Let's keep building this sacred space together. Thank you so much for joining, listening to the podcast, sharing it, engaging with me, and don't lose yourself in someone else's healing. Don't do it. Remember, stay you, stay soft, and stay Savon. Listen, I love y'all. I'm about to roll out, do some things. Let me know what else you want to learn or what else you want to hear. And I'm going to keep you updated on the fuck I do. I feel better talking to y'all. But if you remember, go check out the video that I've posted. You'll see kind of without getting into too many details because I'm not putting y'all in my business like that because listen, that's important to me too. Bye, y'all. Can't help it. Gotta have boundaries. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Remember, grace isn't just for others, it's for you too. Until next time, this has been the Savon Experience Pillow Talk Solo Edition. Be kind, be soft, be you. No mask, no noise, just my truth in the dark. Laid back whispers straight from the heart. Let the world now come and walk this walk. You're deep inside the Savon Experience Pillow Talk. Pillow